What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I want to address what's going on right now. And what's happening is we are seeing a lot of food shortages. We're seeing a lot of signs that there's going to be major shortages coming up as well that will even be worse than what we're currently seeing. Now, a lot of people say, okay, I don't want to say a lot of people, but I've seen many comments that say, stop, promoting fear. Stop inciting this anxiety and this riot mentality. And what I just want to say is, I'm not trying to get you guys all worked up and thinking that, okay, the end of the world's coming. What I'm trying to get you guys to do and think about is, how can you prepare for what is most likely inevitable? We're going to see more and more shortages. And this isn't just coming from me. We see this coming from the USDA. We've seen the Biden administration talk about this. We've seen many reports saying that, yes, this is coming. Okay? So you need to prepare. You need to prep now. Okay? Because food shortages just got worse. Here's what I can tell you. Food banks are already preparing for a run on them as soon as the supplemental SNAP benefits end on April 15th. This is something that we've been discussing for the past couple of months. And just to give you an idea, the average SNAP benefits across the US is $121 per person. That comes out to like $1.40 per meal. It's not much. It's not much. But this is the reason why this is such a big deal. If we see that the American people are going to go hungry, guess what? Guess where they turn? Well, first, they may try to get SNAP benefits if they haven't gotten it already. But if you have it already, then you understand that the next source is going to go to a food bank, get free food, get some handouts. That's because that's what you're going to need. But when the food bank is telling us that they are already expecting a run on them, that's not good news, because we saw this during the height of the pandemic, where many food banks across the United States were actually depleted. They had no food. They had to ration the portions that they were giving out just so that they could give more to many people. And unlike previous times where food banks would give you a box full of food and you could take it home and you'd have 2 to 3 weeks worth of some meals, right? Potatoes and fruits and vegetables and all this stuff. What we saw during the height of the pandemic, which many of these food banks are saying that they are expecting, is we saw them have to ration out the food to such a little quantity, such a little portion, it may only last a couple of days, not weeks. And so that's a huge worry. Now, here's something else that many food banks are worried about, is that farmers a lot of times would give them excess food. For example, I remember I heard a lot about potato farmers. They couldn't sell certain potatoes because they just didn't have the right look to them, right? The color wasn't perfect, right? So these are their kind of ugly potatoes, and they would give them to these food banks, which the food banks were more than happy to give them. The potatoes were still good. They were still edible. There was nothing wrong with them other than their look. They just didn't meet the quality that a grocery store would actually buy. So here's the problem. Farmers right now are worried that their crops are going to get hit pretty hard just based off of the recent storms that we've had here in the United States. More than 100 million people were said to be impacted by the recent hail, snow, windstorm, tornadoes all across the U.S. Now, here in Washington State, we actually got quite a bit of, not quite a bit of snow. We got snow, we got hail, we got some wind, right? We got rain, we got all that. And I can tell you right now, the farmers that we have here in the state, maybe they're doing potatoes, or maybe they're doing cherries or apples or whatever, right? One of the things that you're gonna see is those farmers were hit just because of the cold. This cold front that came in almost out of nowhere. It's really gonna impact our food shortages. And here's another one. Inflation and the supply chain is actually causing more issues. And a lot of people don't really understand this. But let me just break this down. Many big brands are actually expecting to not run as many sales as they used to in the past in order to actually help grocery stores keep their shelves looking somewhat full. But at the same time, grocery products are actually costing more money, and it doesn't look like this is going to stop anytime soon. And just yesterday, we saw through our inflation report that it said food at home rose by 10%. That's massive. We're also seeing that some grocery stores are actually limiting products to consumers as they want to ensure that they don't run out of stock. Again, that's fine for the grocery store because they always look like they have something. But as far as the consumer, if they're limited to just 2 cases of water, 2 bags of chips, right? Maybe the only same bag. That creates issues. Because again, what if they need more? What if they have a big family? What if they don't come into that town or that city, every day to buy groceries, and they buy groceries just one time a month? That creates an issue. I have a friend that he only goes and does grocery shopping one time a month. He goes to a local grocery store. He also goes to Costco, and then he takes that stuff and he goes home, which is about an hour and a half outside of the city. And so he does that one time a month, and he has to stock up on all this stuff in order to last him and his family 1 month. And so if there's limits, again, it creates other issues. Now, here's another one. We are experiencing fertilizer shortages, and I've talked about this multiple times, and fertilizer shortages will only make food shortages worse. We need fertilizer to help our crop yields, to make more, to have bigger, vegetables, better vegetables, right? Stuff that's going to last a little bit. Now, not only is this going to create a food shortage if we don't have as much fertilizer being produced, because what you need to keep in mind is fertilizer. I think it's like the 40% of the world's fertilizer is coming from Russia. Okay? And the longer this war between Russia and Ukraine drags on, the more items are going to cost more here in the US, and the more of a food shortage we are actually going to have. But again, this is going to increase the price of all goods. And this is just fertilizer. This is fertilizer. But here's something else that you need to keep in mind. And this is what experts are telling us. There are ways that you can prep now. But again, you have to start now. Don't wait. And here's the reason why they say this. Experts say do not wait until the last minute to start preparing, because the people that wait for the last minute normally are hit with limitations. Remember how I just said that some stores are limiting the amount of products people can buy? All right, you got a quantity limit. Well, guess what? What if it comes to that point where, okay, I need all this stuff. I need 10 cases of water, but you can only buy 1 case per day, 1 case at a time. That creates an issue. You got to go to 10 other stores if they all are doing the same thing. But that's what they're saying is don't wait till the last minute. Buy products buy only staples that you can live off of. Stop buying the most expensive brands. Buy generic if you can to try to avoid additional costs. Experts say try to avoid foods that are not filling. These cost money, but do very little for you nutrition-wise. And I completely get this one. Now, a lot of people say, buy foods that are, again, if you buy something that's not filling just because of the taste, that's fine. That is perfectly acceptable. But just understand when it comes to prepping, when it comes to, if we do see an increased food shortage, buying something that's not filling just because you taste good might not be the best option, because again, it costs money, but it does very little for you. Experts do say that sandwiches will be the key to saving money for most Americans. They say this because bread is bought in a loaf that can create multiple days worth of meals. The same goes for sliced turkey, ham, right? Cheese, even peanut butter and jelly. You don't buy just, and again, I know you can buy like the jelly slice, which is odd, but you can buy like a slice of jelly and put it on your sandwich. Most people buy a big jar of jelly, buy a big, jar, I guess, of peanut butter and put it on their bread, right? Okay. So you got days worth of peanut butter and jelly and bread. Now, what experts are saying is that this can last multiple weeks, and it will not be as expensive to purchase. So instead of buying like, chicken breast and have chicken and rice where you got to cook every single day, you can just buy a loaf of bread, a pack of sliced turkey, pack of sliced ham, pack of sliced cheese, whatever, right? Buy some, mayonnaise or whatever else you like, put on mustard, I don't know, whatever you guys want to put on it. You can buy that, and that will take you, for, last you at least for the week. And so that's what many experts are saying is stick to sandwiches. Sandwiches are one of the staples that you should have in your kind of list of things that you can live off of. All right. So again, these food shortages, we are going to continue to see these. We're not expecting these to get any better anytime soon. But what experts are telling us and what the news reports are telling us is that as prices go up, certain foods are going to become available. But again, those are going to be the things that are costing more money, that usually just the upper class normally buy. But the things that the lower income and middle income earners are normally buying, those are things that you need to stock up on, because those would be the first thing to go. We saw this during the pandemic. We will see that again. I can guarantee if we have major food shortages, which some are expecting, I don't think we're not going to be going hungry here in the US, but we could see a change in the way we normally eat. And I guarantee you, we saw it when we went through the height of the pandemic where, top ramen, right? The little instant noodles, those were gone almost instantly. Okay, but bread was gone quickly. Packaged, foods like noodles, rice, beans, those things were just wiped out of every grocery store. And I don't want that to happen to you. Okay, so just keep in mind that prices are going to get more expensive, and foods are actually going to be harder to get because they're going to become even further in a short supply. So just keep that in mind. Prepare now and be ready for what according to many people say is inevitable to come. All right. So just wanted to provide you with that warning, but hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.